Hello folks! So how do you improve a basic 5-page website? A few months ago we were tasked with the website redesign for a company called Swiftlight. They make charcoal for incense burners and hookah pipes and are the largest manufacturer of hookah charcoal here in the UK. I personally didn't know much about this product or have even seen a hookah pipe up close, so I had to do a little bit of research. So this is the previous website, obviously a bit dated. The challenge was to make it a bit more interesting with updated imagery. So we went from this to this. From a design standpoint, the first thing you'll notice is a full page layout, as the previous version of the site was framed right down the middle. We like to create as much of an immersive experience as we can for traffic when they visit a website. The second thing we did was use 3D animation. Instead of just using simple pictures of charcoal, we turned the display of the product into a scene, which is a little bit more eye-catching. In order to do this, we used a program called Blender for the modeling and animation, and Substance for the texture. For the animation, we used Mantaflow for the smoke domain, and to render the entire animation, we used Cycles instead of Eevee, mainly because with such low lighting in the scene and the high resolution of the smoke itself, you are going to get a lot better look on what are called the light bounces as the smoke rises. For the products page, we did something similar. We reused the same setting, only this time displayed individual products to tie everything in so the viewer can understand intuitively. Once we had the design done and signed off, we entered the development stage. Now this client doesn't necessarily update content on the regular, so we went for a purely bespoke coded site instead of a CMS. To be honest, I like the popular CMSs out there, WordPress, Drupal, Joomla. They're great in helping people get the marketing started for their business, but they often hem the business owner in later on down the line. I ended up coding this with Laravel backend and Vue.js frontend because the client wanted the option of connecting the contact form to a database and automatic email system later on down the line. Doing this in pure code rather than a CMS gives us many more opportunities to later connect to APIs. This is especially important for this business because generally most of the sales are international wholesale shipments. So if they later want to connect to an invoicing system, CRM, or what have you, they're ready to go. Now, one of the things I keep in mind when developing is SEO. When it comes to animation, this can affect page load speeds and knock you down in page rankings. I'm a big JavaScript guy, and whether I'm using vanilla JavaScript, React, or Vue, I usually use Tailwind for the CSS framework. Tailwind really helps with SEO because it can take a large CSS file of several megabytes and boil it down to a few kilobytes through something called just-in-time. Now, I don't want to mislead you into thinking that every full-stack developer is into 3D animation. It's just something we do here at Bookable because I think it can take websites and the internet to the next level as far as user interfaces. If you combine that with code, then you can get stuff like front-facing registrations if you're building a platform, or data capture techniques for a traditional business that load to a database and integrate with an API. Your website starts doing a whole lot more of sales and admin for you instead of just having to put in so many hours every week doing it yourself manually. So if you have any questions about web or software development, don't be afraid to hit us up. We're always here to help.